Hello everybody and welcome back to Pengy FM for a very ambitious experiment. Today, we're going to be finding out what would happen if we essentially reversed the English leagues, all the way from the top flight, the Premier League, down to Sky Bet League 2. This was an idea that was given to me by my friend Vintage Crispy, so thank you Josh, appreciate ya. And the game plan is simple. Over the course of several videos, we're going to be going a full 100 years into the future. And we're just going to see what English football looks like after being reversed. Essentially, teams from the Premier League are now in League 2. Teams from League 2 are now in the Premier League. And that's basically, obviously, there's not quite an even split because there's 20 in the Prem and 24 in all the other leagues. What I did was I ranked the teams based on their 2019-2020 performance. So a couple of championship teams do find themselves in League 2. So presumably, we'll probably see whoever gets promoted out of League 2, I imagine, will have a bit of a meteoric rise up the leagues, back up to the top flight. But for a lot of these other big Premier League teams, as we know them, they're not going to get out of this. There's only enough space for 4 teams to get promoted. They're not going to get promoted. And it's going to be fascinating to see what effect that has on the teams. Do we have teams like Leicester, Leeds, just sitting in League 2 forever? Do they never leave? Do they never get promoted? And then another question is, even for the ones that do immediately get promoted, right? Like, let's say Liverpool wins the league. Even if they do, are they going to be able to have that meteoric rise? Because a lot of these players are not going to want to play League 2 football. They're probably going to lose a lot of players early on. And even if they don't lose them in the first season, they're not going to want to play League 1 football either. And in the meantime, all of these teams up at the top over here, they're getting a ton of money. So a team like Barrow, a team like Grimsby, they don't really have, like, who's predicted to win? Salford is heavily predicted to win. I mean, Salford, but like, even if you look at like Newport County, right? Like, if we have a look at them, they're not going to be a very rich club. If I look at their finances real quick, they've got about 2 million. But this is the Premier League. They're going to get millions and millions and millions of dollars just shoved into their coffers, even the ones that lose. So even if like teams that get promoted relatively easily in the first couple of years, they might really struggle to make it all the way back up to the top. Another thing that's going to be really interesting to watch in the first season is also how the English clubs do in Europe, because the teams who did qualify for Europe are still in Europe. So if we go down back to have a look at Liverpool, for example, we'll see they still have to play their... oh, wait. Are they not? Okay, I'm confused. I thought they were playing in Europe, but I guess not. Well, I guess we'll find out. No, wait, they are. So yeah, we'll have to see exactly how that works out for them, because they are going to lose some players, but maybe they can hold on to them just long enough to have a bit of a run, maybe hold on to them for 6 months, and it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be wild. I'm really looking forward to this. I have actually simulated all the way down to Tier 6. We didn't change Vanarama leagues at all, but I'm kind of interested to see what happens if, like, let's say you're, I don't know, Kings Lynn, and you get promoted. You're going to get relegated. But before you get relegated, you're going to bring in so much money from the away fans of teams like Man U and Leicester and Liverpool. And all of these teams bringing in their away fans is going to essentially result in a massive influx of cash to the teams that do get promoted out of the Vanarama National League. So I'm interested to see if that creates sort of a situation where we just have permanent yo-yo clubs, where there's just clubs that just have so much more money than the other teams in the league. That's going to be a little bit of an interesting side thing to look at. But in the meantime, we're just going to go 1 year into the future to start. I just want to see how these teams have gotten on, and I want to see who our new English Premier League champion is. All right, so here we are, 30th of June. We've gone forward 1 year. I did want to mention something sort of unrelated. Over the course of this video, you'll notice the audio getting progressively better. This is the last part of a video. I guess like we'll do one more sim today, but this is the last video using shitty audio. As of tomorrow, this is gonna take 3 or 4 days to sim through all of this experiment. But as of tomorrow, I'm gonna be putting up my soundproofing foam, my acoustic foam, so we'll have better audio soon. I'm really excited. I was caught sort of in between a rock and a hard place, where I was like, I wanted to start the year strong and start right away, but also I didn't have the audio yet, so it'll be fixed. But anyway, on to the task at hand. Let's find out who the champions of England are. I'm very, very curious. Salford was heavily favored. And they haven't done it. It's Colchester who have done it. Wow. Colchester preseason put them at 5th place as an expectation. They did very, very well. They beat out Walsall by 1 point. Those two leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. Leyton Orient, Exeter, and Morecambe get relegated. And of course, that means that their lives are going to be a lot harder. Now, before we go down the leagues, I'm a little curious about the cup competitions. Let's find out how those went down. The FA Cup was won by Chelsea, so it looks like they maintained enough of their players to manage to make it through. They beat Luton in the quarterfinal. They beat Liverpool in the semifinal. And it looks like Chelsea and Liverpool also both got promoted by the looks of it, so a little bit of a mini spoiler there, and they beat Leeds at the end of the day in the final. So for the Carabao Cup, this cup was dominated by the League Two teams. Let's see if the Carabao Cup was anything different. No, Tottenham with the win. Let's see the top four. Tottenham beats out Watford. Beating out Southampton there, and then eventually beating out Liverpool in the final. So far, the real-life Premier League team is standing strong. Let's check Europe really quick. The Champions League was won by Bayern. How bad was it for the English clubs, though? That's really the question. If we go to the group stage, Man U made it through. Liverpool made it through. Man City made it through. Chelsea lost out. But this is really looking to me like they managed to actually maintain a large number of their players for this first season. Manchester gets both clubs into the round of 8. Liverpool in there as well. My God. Okay, so they actually did very, very well. Liverpool made it on into the semi-finals where they beat Atletico. They actually got 2nd place, runners-up in the Europa, or in the Champions League. The Europa League? Did Chelsea win after they went down? No. Porto managed to win in the end. So, Chelsea not even making it that far, actually. If you go to the knockout stage, we see Arsenal making it through there. All of the English teams did pretty well. Let's actually take a look at the coefficient. Did they actually gain points in the coefficient? Maybe not gain points, but they did very, very well. 18.4, that's really not bad. Okay, so really interesting. But let's check out the other leagues now. We're going to make our way down the leagues. Where am I? Okay, there we go. We're going to make our way down the leagues. In the championship, we saw Bristol, Burton, and Portsmouth win promotion, while Bolton, Plymouth, and Southend got relegated. And then if we go down, Middlesbrough, Blackburn, and Reading going up, with Wycombe, Charlton, Barnsley, and Wigan going down. This is probably the worst place to be because now they're going to have to go up against the big daddies of English football as we go down one more league. And yeah, I mean, we already know that Liverpool and Chelsea made it up. Looks like Man City won the league by 10 points. Tottenham making it up, as well as Brentford and West Brom get relegated. So, who comes up? Wrexham and Notts Co. Will they get more than 10 points? That's my question. Oh, this is going to be brutal for them. I feel a little bad. But overall, first year goes by. Let's have a look at some of the big boys, right? Let's have a look at their transfers. I'm curious about how they did. Finance is okay still. And if you go to the transfer history, right? Oh, man. Yeah, so I mean, this isn't a lot of money. So it's not like big people leaving. A lot of people were sent out on loan. I mean, that's kind of normal. They actually brought in someone. Aguilar actually comes on in. Looks like a pretty good Peruvian youth player, actually. So, it looks like a lot of the players, at least at Man City, were okay to stick around. And part of me wonders if that has to do more with Europe, or if it has to do with the fact that, like, it was too early, the players, since they didn't actually get relegated in the game, maybe they didn't get upset. Maybe it didn't upset the players because it didn't quite compute with the engine. Origi's left. Shaqiri's left. Origi going to Ajax. And didn't actually play at all, so he left very, very early in the season. So, yeah, I mean, let's have a look at one of these teams who were sort of mid-table, not playing in Europe, I guess. Let's have a look at Norwich. Still a lot of money for Norwich. Yeah, I mean, they lost. Kenny McLean left. Placheta left. I mean, they lost a couple people here and there, but it looks like the massive exodus of the top players from the clubs really hasn't happened yet. So that'll be interesting to see if that happens this season. Even the guys who got promoted, your best players, right? If you're Manchester City, your best players are not going to want to play League One, surely. Surely they're going to lose people. Surely people like De Bruyne are going to leave now. Like, it's shocking to me that De Bruyne is still here. We'll see if he ends up leaving. But, I mean, he doesn't look unhappy. This is going to be very interesting. I think that just about does it for this sort of sim forward, though. I guess we can check who the best players were real quick. I don't want to take this, I don't really want this to go on for too long. I think actually we lost it because, I don't know if we can view the stats for this season, can we? No. All right, well, we'll sim a little bit earlier in June next time around. But, yeah, an interesting start for sure. Now the question is, for some teams like Man United, they've now missed the boat. If all of the players leave now, they might have trouble because they missed that chance to get that first initial promotion. Of course, if you look at the prize money for this tier, 32 grand. It's not a lot. And when we look back at sort of the Prem, if you look at the rules here, every single club, especially the top clubs, we're looking at tens of millions of dollars. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this sort of progresses. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go 4 years forward, so we'll be a total of 5 years into the future. And yeah, that'll probably be the last recording I do with shitty audio. I'll see you in a sec. All right, welcome to the year 2025. We're 5 years into the future. The very first thing that I actually want to check is I want to see how badly Wrexham and Notts County got absolutely obliterated in the 2021 season. I feel like this might have normalized a little bit. Oh, it's definitely normalized. Holy shit. They're like getting points. But if we go back here, whoa, Notts County survived over Wigan? So, wow, Wrexham did not, but Wigan with the double relegation there. Wow. And they're struggling in the National League now. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was not... So I thought we'd have the teams sort of dropping up and down, yo-yoing pretty much exclusively, but Wigan might be the worst team left from the top 4 leagues in real life. They might be the worst team now. Oh my god. All right, so Arsenal made it up in the playoffs along with Leeds, Brighton, and Man U in that season. Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth, Wolves. Slowly but surely, you can see the big teams sort of moving their way forward. Notably, though, we're still seeing some teams like Leicester stuck down here. Will they ever make it out? I mean, they're really struggling, Leicester, Newcastle, West Ham, Burnley, Norwich. Slowly but surely, all of these teams are moving up, and Leicester finally do it in 2025, along with Aston Villa, Watford, Charlton. Have Notts County survived this entire time? They actually have. That's unbelievable. That's very impressive. All right, well, let's go into champions then. League champions. Who has been dominating? Liverpool is already back on top. Well, this is disappointing. How did they manage to keep all of their players? Or I guess maybe they didn't, but like... That's a little sad, isn't it? This wasn't what I signed up for. Alright, so if we go all the way back, of course, Colchester won the first one. They did not defend their title as Salford was able to take over. Reading then won. And then at the first chance of asking, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, who have all shot up the leagues apparently, smashed the top 3. Salford, 17 points behind Liverpool, closing it out for top 4. It's interesting to me that we're still seeing 4 Champions League spots, which means that these sort of lower tier teams must have been doing a pretty okay job. especially when you think about the money that they've been getting. I mean, Salford already has a little bit more than some of these. But, like, if we look at, let's say, Barrow, right? If we look at Barrow, how much money do they have now? Oh my god, they have 109 million. No, they have 223 million. Okay, I think we might be seeing a bit of a weird thing happen here, where, I think you can see the reputation is still struggling. I think they're getting so much money, but their reputation is so low that they're unable to bring in the level of players that the money would allow them to. The reputation isn't high enough. So, like, their captain, Herbie Kane, I mean, he looks pretty good. I mean, he's a Liverpool player, former Liverpool player. But, like, this isn't really... I mean, if we look at, like, Reading, for example, like, when they won the league, I mean, like, this isn't incredible. Oh, he's very good. But, like, even him, though, his technicals aren't incredible. I mean, a lot of this looks like it might be down to the fact that their reputation just did not rise fast enough to compete with the big boys who somehow have survived. I mean, 3 straight promotions, 3rd and then a championship. Liverpool, they never even cared. They still have Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, like, who do they have? Like, who did they lose, right? Not that many players, really. Virgil van Dijk left, Firmino left, but nobody else big left, and they were still bringing in people like Marco. I mean, Mohamed Kamara is like a pretty good player. I mean, this guy joined Liverpool, presumably because Liverpool was still... did they have European football? No, I guess they didn't, because they didn't win. But did they win a cup? I mean, it's weird, right? Like, you would expect them to have lost so many more players. I mean, over time, Glatzel leaves. Like, they're not losing their big names, really. And they're still bringing in... I mean, when they were in the championship, they were able to bring in Nuno Mendes for a massive amount of money. And, I mean, it really just didn't have the effect that I expected it to. Salford, in the meantime, who's their key player? Max Aarons. Fair enough. Pretty good player. I mean, it is weird. This is... I didn't think it would be this fast. Colchester, the first champions, have just been relegated now as more and more of the good teams sort of move their way back up the leagues. We'll have to see if some of these teams like Salford, who have finished high up multiple times, can really sort of establish themselves, right? Once their reputation gets higher. I mean, they're at 3.5 stars now. That's better than, like, Barrow, for example, right? So I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, they have... How much money? Oh, okay, it's 82. I thought it was 828 million. No, it's 82 million. Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit weird and surprising. I guess let's have a look down the other leagues real quick. I mean, the championship for the last 4 years. How's this one been? Blackburn winning it pretty handily. Sunderland going up. Leyton Orient, Northampton, Morecambe going down. Yeah, I mean, this was the season when Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham joined the league, just crushing everybody else. Over a 30-point gap between 3rd and 4th. Unreal. 130 points for Chelsea. That's insanity. And then Man U, Man City, and Brighton going up. And it looks like we are well and truly on the way to things being a little bit more normalized. Let's have a look at the cups real quick, though. Did anybody manage to, like... Were there any upsetting cup wins? No. Not even an upsetting cup finalist in the FA Cup. How about the Carabao Cup? I'm not really optimistic at this point. It's just the same couple teams. Portsmouth made the finals. That's cool. That's very cool, actually. You know, good on them. They actually came 2nd place one year. All right. I mean, when we start on Europe, right, I want to actually start by looking at the coefficient. I'm surprised they still have 4 spots, but it's fallen off. Oh my god. Okay, so this past year was actually a lot better because we had the return of, like, Liverpool, Chelsea, but the 2 years before that, the 3 years before that, a massive drop-off. And actually, this coming season, England will not have 4 Champions League spots for the first time. It'll be just 3 As of the 2026 season, there will be 3 qualifying spots. Now, presumably, they'll be able to repair that damage slowly but surely. Next season, probably not. 18 is a bit of a high bar. But, you know, then they'll sort of slowly gain it back. But interesting. Let's see the winners of the... Not even necessarily the winners. I just kind of want to see how these lower tier teams have sort of gotten on in just the Champions League in general, right? So it's interesting that the first year actually was the best performance. Bradford only got a single draw against Bayer Leverkusen, didn't do great. Newport County, 6 losses with a 0-20 goal difference. Oh, I mean, it's a hard group, but still. Colchester, the league champions, only getting a single point in a draw against Shakhtar. I mean, you're seeing the struggles here. Walsall going 0-6. Not a single win in the Champions League. How about the year following? Bristol managing a draw. Portsmouth going 0-6. Burton going 0-6. 3 draws for Salford's not too bad. Against Lille twice and against Dortmund. That's a pretty decent showing, all things considered. And you can really see why things are struggling so much with the coefficient. But Reading with a very good performance, getting actually to the knockout phases by knocking out Lyon. That's a really good performance. So we're seeing a little bit of an improvement there. Salford getting a win, 4 points instead of 3 this time. Managing to beat Basel and also draw with them. And Blackburn struggling a little bit. Let's see how Reading actually got on. I assume they didn't make it too far, but yeah, they lose to Barcelona. That's fair enough. Huh. Did any of them manage to pull up any trees in the Europa League? Probably not. We're just gonna have a look at sort of the let's go to like the let's go to the quarterfinals and just sort of scroll through. Oh, Salford made the quarterfinals, lost to Ajax. Wow, okay, good for them. Chelsea. I mean, we'll see more here because of like teams being able to play through the cup winners and all that jazz. Liverpool doing very, very well this year. Chelsea doing very, very well this year. I'm actually curious, did they actually win? No, they didn't, but both of them got runners-up once. And of course, the Europa Conference League is also a thing. I'm not really going to pay too much attention to it. I just want to look at the past winners. Chelsea did win this one once. That explains why they qualified for the Europa League, because cup winners now go into the Euro Cup too and not into the Europa League directly. So, wow, a lot to cover here. That's going to be it for this first video, honestly. We're going to keep going. The next video, I think we'll start, let's say, 15 years into the future. So we're going to go until 2035, an additional 10 years from where we are now. And we'll see how things are looking. By then I'll also have a little bit of this acoustic foam up. So look forward to that. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please drop a like, drop a sub if you're interested in seeing more content like this. And if you're new here, please consider checking out my my Liechtenstein Legends series, which I think has started off pretty entertainingly. It's a really awesome concept that I'm having a lot of fun with, so please consider checking that out. And if you want to be notified when there's new videos, hit that bell. And if there's any future experiment ideas that you have for me, feel free to drop them in the comments. In the meantime, I will see you guys tomorrow for another upload of this little experiment. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye-bye.